Alright, so the last topic that I want to talk about today is why companies are going to keep you a setter. So we can only look at the data on why an organization would keep you a setter rather than move you into closing. And it happens time and time again. There's still guys that I know that are still setting, that I remember I first had a networking call with back in September 2024 when I first started. And they're still setting now. And we're almost talking 14, close to 15 months later. And similar thing happened to my brother and I and a couple other guys, is we were setting for far too long. And you have to look at it from a perspective of an organization, is why would I progress someone into another role knowing it's probably going to cost me more resources and training, it's going to cost me money in ad spend and leads to be able to give them opportunity as a test, because remember, we don't have data that they can close a deal and do a full sales cycle. We're only hoping and going off their setting skill that they can close deals. So having this exactly happened, like we were originally supposed to close back in January. And we were gassed, we're like, boom, we're going to move into closing. And then it's like, oh no, you guys aren't closing. We're like, why not? Oh, we don't have enough capacity right now for the reps. We don't have enough setters because we fired a bunch of setters. So it got to the point where we're setting. And it's like, if I could go back, I would have done a closing role on the side, because you can't sit here and tell me that you got into sales to be a setter. Like, be real with yourself for a second. Think about it. You want to choose a setter over a closing role, and the only reason you would choose a setting role is if you were going to be making a shitload of money. Like, there's some setters that I've heard in the space doing $40,000 US a month. Break that down for a second. A phone setter dialing leads, dialing someone and asking them why did they book a call, or what was it about the ad that they saw, how much money they got to invest, why are they looking into this opportunity, and then to book them with a closer who's going to close that deal. These guys are making $40,000 a month. Like, I know there were setters on our team who made $22,000 AUD in a month. Like, that's insane money, life-changing money to be able to make literally just by dialing and calling leads. So you have to look at it from the perspective as a lot of organizations are going to keep you a setter because they're going to make more money. It makes sense, and I would do the exact same thing if I was in the position of the founder. It's like, why would I progress this guy into a closer? And it's the same thing, these closers want to keep you a setter because they make more money off you as a setter, because they know that their calendar's taken care of. If they're working for 8 hours, they know that lead 1, 4, 7, 8 is all taken care of, that their leads are going to be showing, and then the other ones, if they don't show, hit RGA throughout that time. So you have to look at it from that perspective. But if you're watching this and you're currently setting and you want to move into closing, the biggest recommendation that I can give to you from my experience is find a closing role, find a closing offer that may be a little bit less. You might not make as much money, but at least you can start getting some reps. Because in this space, the reps are what matter. Like, yes, on your first few calls, you're going to be shit, you're going to mess up, but you'd prefer to take it on an offer that's not as established, or, it might be like a bit of a bait and switch or a bit of a low ticket offer, because at least you're not going to be burning a lead that's coming in to drop 20K. You might burn a lead that's coming to drop a K. It's not that. It doesn't matter that much. So I would recommend finding a closing offer and just start getting the reps. And you should, if you've been watching any of my content, you should know by now, you should have a mentor. Whoever you work with, if you need a mentor, feel free to drop me a comment and I can connect you with a few of my guys that I've worked with personally. You should be working with your mentor. Then from there, you talk to your mentor and say, okay, hey, can we run a role play? Can I show you my skill? Can I send you through a sales recording to show you my closing skill and tell me where I need to improve? Tell me what I've got to work on. Then from there, you talk to your mentor, and your mentor should be able to help you find opportunities. And you should also be networking in the space to then go find you an opportunity that's going to allow you to close. And this is under the premise that your company and the organization that you're working with does not allow you to close right now, and they gatekeep you. So you've got that avenue, or which is a little bit, which the only time that you could do this, it's a little bit off chart. So, if you're hearing this and you're like, this doesn't make sense, I'm not going to do this. I'm going to pre-frame, the only reason and the way that you could do this is if you have yourself in a position financially where you're okay with losing the organization you're working with. So don't do this if you've got fuck all money and you've got mortgages, you've got expenses, you've got a family, and you need the income coming in from the setting role to be able to provide those things, don't do this. But if you're not like that, you might be at home or you might have a bit of cash stacked up, then I would just start taking closing calls on your current offer. Just fuck it. Just start self-setting, because you can set, you probably already made money as a setter. Just start self-genning opportunities and just start sitting them and closing them. Because no one's going to get mad if they see in the sales team hub that all of a sudden there's a deal that pops through and it's like, what? Zen just closed the deal? What? How did you do that? Then they're probably going to say, oh, why'd you close this deal? And I said, well, you guys told me that I was supposed to be closing at this date and I wasn't closing. So I just went and self-gen and closed it. They're either going to be like, that's bullshit, you shouldn't have done that, off board. Or they're going to be like, okay, here's what it is, man. Let's review it. So you're going to have two drops, but at least you know you're doing everything in your power. Because the last thing you want to do is just be reliant on a company as a setter. Because fuck that. You're going to make so much more money as a closer. Like, for these months as a setter, I never hit my 10K a month as a setter. Never. But the first month I started closing, I hit 11.4. Bang, surpassed the 10K. But the month before that, I hit like I think it was like another 9K month. I think it was even a little bit closer. I think it was like a 9.7. Like, it was a super close. And even my mentor was like, bro, we could just say contracted comms. And I'm like, fuck that. Has to be cash. Has to be cash. 200K cash as a setter. Or 200K cash as a setter, or 100K cash as a closer. And it has to be 10K cash. Can't be 10K contracted. And then that next month we hit 11.4. And then the month after that was like 13.1. And then the month after that was 16.7. Because I was closing my own fucking deals. So if you're watching this, start closing. If not, find a way.